guys, ChowThink has done it again, and they've released a dual Z ball screw setup for the Ender 3 Pro. So today is going to be a build-along video where you guys get to join me in disassembling and assembling the ball screw setup on this Ender 3 Pro. Now we're on the back side of this printer, the ugly side where all the wires and stuff need to be better managed, but we'll get to that later. But right now, we're going to start the process and disassemble this printer to install the new ball screw. Now, this is the package that we got. We got obviously the ball screw, the mounting plates, and things of that nature. And this shouldn't be too bad on this setup to do. I believe this is the left-hand setup. Yep, this is the left-hand setup, so this will be side for right here. So let's go ahead and start disassembling the printer. So we're gonna use one of my favorite new tools for a lot of this, which is my automatic screwdriver, because I hate using those Allen keys for large jobs. It's just so much work, twisting and untwisting. So we're going to start with removing the stepper motor, or at least the bracket that I designed to relocate the stepper motor. See how much faster that is? Rather than using an Allen key. Move this out of the way. Let me just make sure my camera is in fact recording everything that I want to record. Yep, we're good. Cool. Okie doke. And I know the microphone on this camera is not the best, so I apologize for that in advance. Now, some of these things will still need Allen keys due to the access. But as long as I can use my screwdriver for most of it, I'll be a happy man. Now, luckily on this printer, the screws are actually facing the opposite direction of a stock Ender 3 Pro. This Ender 3 is like super heavily modified, so you know there's quite a lot different going on here, comparatively speaking. That's why this build-along video is going to be a little different for everyone else. Alright. We have got access now to the main plate. We're going to need to stabilize on the back. Let's see. There's a bigger Allen key than that. There we go. Now, these are nylock nuts. Technically, you're not supposed to reuse them, but for the time being, we are going to reuse them. Alright, so here comes our first challenge. The screw we need to have access to is being blocked by the other side by the linear rail. So we need to go to the other side and take off our linear rail, which is not that big of a deal. The x-axis linear rail is actually pretty simple. Because we need to be able to stabilize this screw right here. And there we go. We have access to the screw we need to stabilize on one side. See if we can get it through the hole on this side. Yep, there we go. Go. And now the last screw. Is more of the same. Oops. Thing about Allen keys. Getting a good grip on this side. It's kind of a pain in the butt. Almost got it. There we go. Now, this is going to look different from everyone else because this is a linear rail Z-axis. Now, we can take our modified plate. If I can get the bag open. Come on. There we go. Here's our modified plate. This will sit like this. So we'll line up our holes. Now we can screw the nuts back on. In fact, let me see if I can use my automatic screwdriver for this. Make life a little easier. Yep. There we go. Alright, just a little glitch in the camera there. See, that's one of three. There we go, that's two of three. And I seem to have misplaced one of the nylock nuts. Here it is. Yeah, I'm glad that didn't get lost, because I have dropped many a thing in my day. We need to make sure this is flush level with the rest of everything. This x-axis gantry needs to be taut, nice and taut. We'll go in and tighten up the rest of the screws here. Alright, we now have our modified plate installed. Now we can do the coupler for the stepper motor. This is our new little coupler. A little too big. A little too small. A little too big. There we go. There's the ticket. Gotta make sure I have it about the right length up the shaft. Once I get it there, get it nice and tight. Actually, I think we goofed. We need to have a different part on first. Well, actually, no, it doesn't matter which one we did first. Interesting that they only gave us... Oh. We've got to look through our screw bags and find the right screws. I think here's our screws in this bag. Right here. So this will go over the stepper motor like so. So these little plastic bags are a pain to get open. I'll dump our screws in here. Let's see, what size Allen key do we need? That size. There we go. That's 1 of 4. Two of 4. I may have to use an Allen key to get these back ones. Let's see if I can get it with the tool here. Cool. I can get it with my automatic screwdriver. Bada bing, bada boom. Alright, and these are for mounting this plate to the y-axis portion of the frame, or not the y-axis, the z-axis. Can you believe I'm doing this without any instructions? If you're going to do stuff like this, you got to be intimately familiar with your frame. Otherwise, it's just a lot of work and a headache. But I sincerely think ball screws are the proper way to go for this setup. We're going to find out if that's the case. Okay, definitely going to need an Allen key for this one. That's 1 of 2. That's 2 of 2. Make sure. Make sure they're nice and tight. May need to be slightly adjusted later on. Alright, now we can install the ball screw. Alright, so the next part is the big moment. This is our ball screw. Now, fun fact about ball screws, do not ever take the nut off of the screw because you'll never get it back on. Nice pre-lubed ball screw. Alright. This little guy goes in like that. We gotta spin it down. Oh, I could just do that. Oh, that's so much better. Try doing that with a trapezoidal Acme screw. Alright, cool. Now to screw it in, There we go, here's our screws. That is the wrong size. I need it slightly bigger. Oh, that one's too big. There we go. Just right. Third time's the charm. That's one. That's two. Now the back ones I'll probably have to use. I don't think I have to use an Allen key because I don't think my screwdriver is going to fit back there, which makes me sad because I love using my screwdriver. Well, maybe. Yeah, no, we're going to have to use an Allen key. Not the right size Allen key. Is this not the right size? No, that's not the right size either. Now the big question becomes, where did I put the right size Allen key? Is this the right size? It is. Going manual mode for this one. Imagine doing all this work with just an Allen key. It would be murder on your fingers. Almost got it. Hoo-yah! Now we just need to tighten this coupler. she's stiff, guys. She's stiff. Not done yet. Possibly the most controversial part of this whole build, the top stabilizer. Say what you guys want, but when everything's lined up, a top stabilizer doesn't actually hurt, in my opinion. Oh, okay, this is made of metal. I thought that was plastic at first. Hey-oh. Metal parts for the win. Oh my gosh, these bags. These bags. I get it. Thank you, ChowThink, for organizing. But it's tiny little bags. Alright. We're making progress, boys. Now, realistically, I should move this all the way up before I tighten everything down. But I'm going to tighten everything down right now. I'm just going to kind of YOLO it and adjust it a little bit later once I got both of the ball screws in place. But how about that? We've got one side, the easy side, done on our ball screw setup. So now we need to do the more difficult side. And the only reason it's more difficult is just because there's a few extra parts in the way. It's actually not that bad. Okie doke. So let's get to work on the other side. We'll need to open up the other side's kit. They come separate in two different kits. There we go. They're going to look a little different from each other, but that's kind of the point, because one's for the left side, one's for the right side. And one thing I like about this kit is it actually puts the stepper motor for your extruder out a little bit more towards the center of the build. You'll see it when it's fully assembled. Okay, so let's start by taking the stepper motor for extruder off. And then much of this is really the same. Although because this is in the way, I'm gonna have to manually. Oh, that's not the right size. That's not the right size either. This little thing I designed is handy, but in the way. There we go. Get that taken care of. Where's my automatic screwdriver? And I'll go for my tiny bit. Nope, I'll need to get that one with manual mode. All right, that's one. For the record, these are palm nuts on a Teflon coated lead screw, and I don't like these very much. They are not worth going for. Alright, now that we have that free, get our stepper motor free. There we go. There she blows. Alright. Now, it's much of the same as before. We just need to get our plate off on the back here. Now, if I can remember where I put the little wrench, that would be just swell. Although ChowThink does include little wrenches with everything, so maybe I'll just, for the time being, until I can find the other one, use the ones that they included. There she blows. That's one. Linear rail is in the way. This one's going to be a little bit of a pain to get to. Oh, wait. There it is. Thought you could fool me, printer. And once again, move our linear rail out of the way to access a bolt, which we're going to have to use an Allen key to get into. Now the nice thing about having a dual Z set up beforehand is I don't have to have someone hold anything together. The only thing of that is holding up one side of the gantry. Because this side is holding everything up for me. Out with the old and in with the new. Just make sure I'm lining everything up here and I have all my spacers properly. There we go. That's the ticket. Oh, I had it for a second. Oh no! Let's try that again. Alright. Now with everything held together, let's get the nuts on. At least get them hand tight. Oh, there goes another spacer. That will need to go back on. There we go. Oops. This is the thing about little hand tools. Everything's still kind of greasy up in here. So holding on to it. Oh, here's that wrench I was looking for earlier. I feel silly now. It was right in front of me the whole time. Granted, it was sitting vertical. Okie doke. We got our modified plate on. So let's go ahead and once again put, well, you know what, this time what we'll do is put the mounting plate for the Z stepper on first. Holy crikey, if I can get these bags open. This time they put the bags in properly for me. Bags of bags of bags. Gotta get the right size fitting, please. Ho, 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 ho. Almost lost that screw. That would have been tragic. Everything is slippery because of all the grease from the ball screw. It's a lot less space to work with on this side. All the wires. All the wires. Nice. Okay. So now see, the advantage of doing it this way is I can use my automatic screwdriver to tighten everything down. Because the coupler won't be in the way. This is big brain time. Big brain time. Make sure those are vertical first. Get them in there nice and good. Whoops. That usually doesn't happen. Bada bing, bada boom. Now it's time for the coupler. The coupler. The coupler. That's the right size. Alright. There's the coupler, and I think we got it in at a reasonable position. Now, for the ball screw. Okay. 4 screws for the ball screw. Seriously, if you don't have an automatic screwdriver and you work on printers all day, what are you doing with your life? And the last thing is the top stabilizing mounts, which once again I'm glad they made it out of metal. That's what I like to see, ChowThink. That's what Daddy likes. Go. There we go. These top stabilizing bars are going to play more of a significant role than I'd like to on this side, because they're going to be helping keep the angle the way it ought to be. Luckily, because ball screw shafts are very rigid, shouldn't have a problem with that. Okie doke. That is a dual ball screw setup, buddy. We just need to get our stepper motor back in place. Okay, things are looking pretty good. Now I need to get the linear rail back on its particular axis. Which shouldn't be all that hard. Let's raise this up. And then we have our alignment bracket. For just such an occasion. Oh. This one seems to have fallen out. That's okay. We don't want our linear rail to fall out of its perch. Let's try that again. Alright, we're done for the most part. This is now fully built. Now we need to change some stuff in firmware. Okay, so over in configuration, advanced, steps per millimeter, Z steps, this goes up to 800. Store those settings. Now, make sure our ABL is still working. Yep. We're going to try auto home. The ball screws need to be aligned a little bit. That's what we have these bump stops up here for, to auto align everything. It's taking its time, but it's the Z-axis. What do you expect? And yes, this is a crash gantry leveler, so we are going to crash the gantry on purpose. Alright, she should be level now. Auto home. She's a little loud going this fast. Now then. Why is she so squeaky on this side? I might need to realign some stuff back here, but overall, let's do a M48 probe test. Yep, she's binding on one side. So she's binding on this side. So this side we'll need to do a little bit of work on. See, we can't figure out why. Right, I actually figured out what the problem is. It's nothing to do with the hardware. It's all firmware. I have super fast probe mode enabled on my Easy ABL. So the gantry moves up and down super fast, as the name would imply. Way faster than you're supposed to for the most part. And that's causing some issues. Because we have twice as many steps per millimeter on this particular setup compared to the standard 8mm lead that you would have on your trapezoidal Acme screws that come with the printer. This is a 4mm lead, so basically your stepper motor is spinning twice as much for the same amount of distance, giving you more resolution, but you have to slow things down a bit. Now, super fast probe mode is already pushing the limits even with an 8mm lead screw. So it's really just a matter of changing the firmware up and then going back to normal probe speeding mode, or probe speed. Yeah, normal probe speed mode. And that'll fix things up, and we can actually do some test prints. So as you can see now, it's not making any squealing noises or whatnot. It's moving down a lot slower. I changed the velocity just to prove a point. Super fast probe mode. It's really cool if you can get it to work, but it's known to have a lot of issues. So moving back to normal speeds with the Z-axis. And she's going to touch down. There we go. And let's do M48 probe test. See how that goes. Now she's working properly. Oh, super fast probe mode. You're cool when you work, but when you don't, you're a headache. Standard deviation of 0.074709. That's not the greatest standard deviation in the world, but it certainly will work for now. So that's it, guys. This is the build along video for the dual Z ball screw from ChowThink. This is pretty freaking sweet, if I do say so myself. It's going to take some testing to see if it's actually worth doing all this, but hopefully it'll be all worth it. So if you like this video and you want to see more videos like it, consider commenting, rating, subscribing, checking out my other videos. I got plenty of them. And as always, measure twice, print once.